Hello bikers, hope you have fueled up your machines today. And I bet the first thing you did was peep at your dash to check the tiny fuel bar, right? But have you ever wondered how does your bike even know how much fuel is left inside the tank? Today we are diving deep into the secret behind your motorcycle's electronic fuel gauge. We'll break down its construction, its working principle, and even some pro troubleshooting tips to keep you ahead on the game. Strap your helmet, this ride's gonna be smooth and tech-packed. Let's start with the construction. An electronic fuel gauge consists of three main components. A fuel level sensor, usually a float sensor or a resistive strip mounted inside the fuel tank. The float moves up and down with the fuel levels changing resistance. Next is the signal processing unit. This converts the sensor's resistance values into voltage signals. This is usually found under the tank or within the wiring harness. The third part is a digital display or instrument cluster, which is located on the dashboard, and this shows fuel bars, a percentage or a range estimation depending on the motorcycle model. In premium motorcycles, you will find capacitive fuel sensors that are more accurate, while budget bikes still use the classic float resistor strip. Now let's understand how it works. When the ignition is turned on, the ECU supplies power to the fuel level sensor. The float inside the tank rises and falls depending on the fuel level. And as the float moves, it changes the resistance in the sensor circuit. Thus, changing resistance is converted into an electrical signal by the processing unit. And finally, your digital instrument cluster displays the fuel level in bars, liters or percentage. In high-end bikes like KTM and Yamaha, the ECU also calculates instant mileage and range to empty based on the fuel gauge readings and injected data. With the construction and working seen, now it's time for troubleshooting. Sometimes your fuel gauge may stop working or show inaccurate readings. Here are the common causes and solutions. The first one goes to the faulty float sensor. Symptom: fuel bars stuck or always show empty or full. The solution is to remove the fuel tank and check the float for blockage or wear. You will have to replace if needed. Loose or damaged wiring. The symptoms are gauge fluctuations when riding on bumps. And the solution is to inspect the wiring harness from the sensor to the cluster. Secure or replace the faulty connections. Let's now look at the bad grounding or fuse issues. The symptom would be fuel gauge doesn't respond at all. The solution is to check the grounding near the frame and inspect the instrument cluster fuse. And then comes the master, ECU or the cluster malfunction. The symptom would be sensor works fine but the display is incorrect. The solution is to reset the ECU or get the digital console checked at the service centers. Regularly keeping the tank clean and servicing the sensor during maintenance intervals help prevent the inaccurate fuel readings. Let's now have a quick recap. The construction, which includes float sensor, signal unit and a display cluster. And on the working, the float movement takes it to the resistance change and digital fuel reading. Troubleshooting is to check the sensor, wiring, grounding and the ECU. Modern bikes now have advanced, but the core principle remains the same: accurate resistance sensing. Take care of your bike's fuel system and the gauge will never let you down. And that's the wrap. Bikers, next time you switch on the ignition and have a glance at those tiny fuel bars, you will now know the engineering magic happening behind the scenes. Remember, a well-maintained fuel system keeps your ride smoother, safer and worry-free. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell icon so you never miss out on any more bike tech secrets. Until next time, ride safe, ride smart and keep the throttle twisted. This is Apex Tumak signing off.